So we are going to start learning volume. This is the opposite of what surface area and area is. Area is what covers the outside of a three-dimensional figure, while volume is what fills it in. So volume will be everything that's inside of it. Now, to find the volume, we have the same exact formula for all shapes. We just need to be very careful with one part of that shape. So the formula is volume equals capital B H. And this capital B is what changes for each shape, because this capital B means the area of the base. And this H right here is height, but it's going to be talking about the height of our shape, which is a three-dimensional figure. So if we look at this shape right here, I know that the base is the one that's on the floor. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And that is down here. So first I'm going to be doing the area of that shape. I know that that shape is a rectangle and those dimensions are 4 and 7. So to find the area of this part right here, I will need to do base times height because it is a rectangle. So if I do that, that's the base and the height of just this shape right here, which would be 4 and 7. 4 times 7 equals 28. So I found my first piece of this formula. That capital B, that area of my base, was 28. That is not my final answer though. That is just for my rectangle. Now they're asking me about the height of my shape. If I look at my shape, the height will be however tall it is. What's connecting those two bases? And what's connecting those two bases is this 2 right here. And so that H right here will be 2. So the last thing that I need to do with those two things is multiply them. I know when I have two variables together like this, I will be multiplying them. Since I've already found the area of my rectangle and I know the height of my rectangular prism, then all I need to do is multiply those two. So let's go ahead and do that. 28 times 2 gives me 56 centimeters cubed. Okay, that is my final answer right there. Right here I have a triangular prism. The reason I know this is a triangular prism is because the two triangles are my bases. So I do still have the same formula. Volume is the area of my base times my height. I'm going to go ahead and make that just a little neater. I'm going to be separating them so that I remember to find those. So if I'm looking at my shape, I know these triangles right here are my bases. And the reason those are my bases is because this is a triangular prism. So if I look at that, I know that it's 4 centimeters here, centimeters for 7 centimeters for this side. And for how tall this is, it is 6 centimeters. I won't need all of those numbers. Now this is where a lot of you make the silliest mistake. To find the area of a triangle, I will not be doing base times height. I will be doing base times height and then cutting it in half. This is the part that y'all always forget. So the base of this triangle is right here, that 4 centimeters, and the height is what makes a 90-degree angle with it. So right here's my 90-degree angle, which means that this right here, the 6 centimeters, is my height of this triangle. And then once I do that, I can cut it in half. So I know 4 times 6 gives me 24. That will not be the complete area because I need to cut that in half. And half of 24 is 12. So the area of my base will be 12. Now I need to figure out which one is my height for my prism. Now I told y'all the height of the prism is what connects these two bases. So I see those two triangles are my bases. Both of those are connected with 12 centimeters. So that means that 12 is the height of that. The last thing I need to do is multiply those two, which means I'm doing 12 for my bases, for the area of the base, and 12 for the height of it. And I know that 12 times 12 gives us 144. Don't forget your labels. This was centimeters, and now that we're talking about volume, it is cubed. And that's my final answer for that. Last shape I want to look at as a prism, which will be using that same formula, will be a cylinder. Now, the volume of that is also the same formula, the area of the base times the height. Now for this one, we can see that the circle is what creates the base for the cylinder. Now that circle has a radius of 5 centimeters. So they tried making this easy for me. To find the area of a circle, I don't do base times height, I do pi times radius squared. I know the number for pi is 3.14. We already said that the radius is 5 and we'll be squaring that. So first I need to do that. 5 squared gives me 25. And then we need to multiply that with pi. So go ahead and multiply that. Let's see what you get. So what you should have gotten was 78 and 50 hundredths. The last thing is figuring out the height of my prism. Remember, the height of the prism is what connects those two bases. So connecting those two bases will be the 10 centimeters. So the last thing that I'll need to do is multiply this height times my base, well, the area of my base. And so that means that I'm going to be doing 7850 times 10. Go ahead and do that. And so what you should have gotten is 785. And I see that this is also centimeters, and since it's volume, it will be cubed.